Is our next guest ready? He is all situated?
Oh,
He's
great.
all suited.
The
and
hair
booted.
looks perfect.
Look at this. He's getting ready to go. Look at you, Jeff Passan. How are you? You're ready to go, huh? You ready to go?
It's World Series, Rich. I got to be. I have some guesses on the wrestler. I'm not gonna do it, though.
I was just about to say, I bet you Passan knows what I'm talking about. Jeff,
for sure.
Go ahead, Jeff. Just give me.
Just
You
go
say
ahead.
it, and then it's fine.
What do you got?
It's either Mark Henry or Braun Strowman.
It's one of the two. It's one of the two.
My guy, Jeff Passan.
It's one of the two.
Jeff Passan, we get it.
I didn't want to give it away, but just like a little bit of a tease.
I like that. I like your style, Jeff. I like your style.
Very good.
Thank you. I'm always looking out for you guys.
Jeff Passan, man. All right, let's just jump in here. Is Ohtani playing tonight? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless something happens pregame, it looks like he's going to. And considering like how he was on the ground, writhing in pain, it was like, oh boy, this is not good. And I think when a couple of reporters, including my colleague Jesse Rogers, saw him walking out of the Dodgers clubhouse after game 2 without a sling on and without any accoutrements on his arm. And at that point, it was like, all right, maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. And it's not like they had to take him out of the game because he's the DH and his turn in the order didn't come up again. So we really definitively didn't know how bad it was. But then Dave Roberts yesterday told our Carl Ravitch that it looks like he's going to play. And here we are. And look, the Yankees need every advantage that they can get at this point. And not having Shohei Ohtani in there would have been pretty advantageous for them.
Now, because the Fox microphones embedded in the bases, I think, picked up a conversation between Shohei and the interpreter that came out with the trainer. And I think
a trainer came out.
Or the trainer came out. And you could hear him basically say his shoulder popped out. And so what do we know what he actually suffered in game 2?
Yeah, it is a subluxation, which is not a full dislocation of the shoulder, just a very slight one. And, guys have come back from sublux shoulders pretty quickly. Now, the problem is once that happens once, you are at risk of it happening again, whether it's on a swing or if you play in the field, you dive for something. I don't think we're going to be seeing Shohei Ohtani steal any bases anymore in this World Series. But the fact that he's not playing a position right now really does help his cause. He's going to have somewhere between 4 and 5 at-bats tonight. And as long as he feels like he can swing at full strength, because look, it's the World Series, man. Like you can't be going 70 or 80 or 90%. You have to be at 100% to be your best. And the Dodgers have enough good options otherwise, where if Shohei Ohtani needs to sit out, their lineup would be just fine.
Jeff Passan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Why did Aaron Boone go to Nestor Cortez instead of Tim Hill? Why does he go to a guy who hadn't pitched in 37 days? To try and get Ohtani and Freeman and not the guy that maybe earned his stripes in the first 2 previous series in the playoffs in Tim Hill? Jeff?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right question to ask, Rich. I think the right question is, why didn't he stay with Luke Weaver? And that's the question that Aaron Boone is himself asking at this point. Luke Weaver had only 19 pitches. And I understand it's not typical for relievers to have 2 up-downs. You finish an inning, you go down, you get back up, and then you finish that inning and get back up one more time. But the reality is Luke Weaver has been the best pitcher in the Yankees bullpen this postseason, the guy who has gone multiple innings, multiple times to close out games. And while it would certainly have put him down for game 2, putting in somebody like Jake Cousins and having him get into trouble, which is what prompted the decision to face the top of the lineup with Nestor Cortez, the whole thing was a real mess. Now, I think the Cortez over Hill decision has been a little bit overblown in the sense that if you feel like he's good enough to put on the roster, then you feel like he's good enough to put into leverage spots. His logic when it comes to first and second, 1 out, Ohtani at the plate, Tim Hill is a ground ball guy. Shohei Ohtani does not ground into double plays. So after that, you have Mookie Betts. You're not going to want to pitch to him, even with Tim Hill being more of a ground ball guy. And then you have Hill versus Freeman. We hadn't seen going into this series any power from Freddie Freeman. So that ambushed fastball that he hit 400 feet for the walk-off grand slam, I think that was surprising to everybody, including people in the Dodgers dugout. But this is the kind of decision that has the chance to haunt Aaron Boone, because every choice that you make, Rich, in a World Series game is magnified and is dissected exponentially more than the ones during the regular season. And in this case, he chose wrong.
And we will be hearing about this the rest of our natural-born baseball lives and beyond, right, Jeff? That moment from Game 1, right?
It was so cool. Here's the way that I know a moment in a baseball game is cool.
Okay,
it's when I stand up and curse. Like I did it for Rajay Davis. Right. Like I just stand up and I was like, I'm not going to say it, but you can imagine what I was saying in that instance. And with Freddie Freeman, it wasn't quite to that level because it was Game 1, not Game 7. But it was an epic moment and just the cap of a really great baseball game. And I hope that fans, not just the ones who were tuning in to watch the Dodgers and Yankees and root for them, but the fans who were tuning in to see good baseball felt like they were treated to that, because there's been some really good baseball in each of these first 2 games.
Jeff Passan here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what from what you're hearing, the conversation about what ails Aaron Judge he's chasing pitches he would spit on any day of the week throughout the rest of the regular season. His timing's off. He's out on front feet where he never would. And do you tip your cap? Like, what are the Dodgers doing differently, or what? Like, what are you hearing now? What's the general conversation, Jeff?
You know what? He's in a slump, and he's in a slump in a really inopportune time. And when you compound all of these factors, Rich, number one, his swing does not feel great right now. So when your swing doesn't feel great, maybe you're getting a little antsy. And you see Gleyber Torres and Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton, the guys who surround you in the lineup, all having really good postseasons, and you feel like, I'm not contributing right now. I need to do something. And he hasn't been doing anything at this point. And so he starts pressing a little bit. And when you start pressing, all of a sudden that takes you out of the things that brought you there, right? Aaron Judge is where he is, going to win his second American League MVP award because he does not go chasing on pitches, and because he hunts those mistakes in the middle of the plate. And I thought maybe the most telling one of all was he had a 2-0 count on Yoshinobu Yamamoto in Game 2, and he watched a fastball go right down the middle past him. Aaron Judge normally takes pitches like that and sends them into orbit, and he didn't even trigger his swing at this point. So when you have the physical, his swing not where it needs to be, his timing not where it needs to be, and you compound that with the mental, which is, I have to be doing this, I've got all of it, is a recipe for absolute disaster. He needs to hit the reset button. And hitting the reset button, Rich, in the middle of the World Series is an extraordinarily difficult thing to do, even for the guy who has proven himself over the last few years as the best hitter alive.
And I guess, obviously Judge gets the focus, Jeff, but the bottom third of the lineups right now, the Dodgers are dominating that right now. Yep. The Kike Hernandez, and I know Edman bats a little higher sometimes. Lux, sometimes, obviously Muncie's down around 6. It depends on Will Smith, right? So those guys getting on base for Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, and Volpe, Wells, Verdugo not getting on base for Torres, Soto, and Judge. That might be the end of it too, right? I mean, that might be the difference.
Rich, what you're doing is essentially laying out the case for why the Dodgers have a 2-0 lead right now. And these are all things that the Yankees can fix. I don't think the Yankees are out of this series yet. I just think they haven't played the level of baseball that they need to over the first 2 games to beat a team as complete as the Dodgers. And there are things that are going to be happening over the next few days that are going to be worth watching. Today, how deep into the game does Walker Buehler go? And if he doesn't go deep, is Dave Roberts sit there and say, well, I'm not going to punt this one, but I'm not going to chase a win either, because I have a bullpen game in game 4, and I don't want the Yankees getting more and more and more looks at my relief arms, because, there are numbers that show over the last decade in 7-game series, the league championship series and the World Series, when a reliever is seen multiple times in a series, 3, 4, 5 times in a series, which is possible because you have those off days between 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. When a reliever is seen that many times in a series, his performance gets worse and worse and worse over time. And the batters, they look at it like, I've seen this before. I know this. I know the shape of it. I know the speed of it. I know where it's going to be. I know how I have to swing. And so the Dodgers want this series to end as quickly as possible, because for a team that is as reliant on its bullpen as they are, it's going to be imperative that Dave Roberts manages this correctly so that the Yankees don't get those comfortable at bats with relievers in high leverage spots in late innings.
Love it. Great insight there, Jeff. And, after seeing the beginning of game 2, where Cube came out of center field and essentially ended the game before it started.
That was the coolest thing.
Right. That was it.
If you've ever been in the Dodgers press box, it is very cramped quarters.
Yes.
And so I enjoyed it so much that I was rapping along knowing that there were like dozens of people like right next to me who would probably be staring at me and judging. I didn't give a damn. It was okay. It was a good day.
Yep.
What can you say?
If I'm Hal Steinbrenner, I was on the phone to Jay-Z before the first pitch and ask him what he's doing in game 3. Like we gotta marshal the forces here, Any idea what the Yankees have planned over the next few days? Jeff, you got any idea?
I do not, but remember Jay-Z and Alicia Keys performed, I believe, in the 2009 World Series, last time the Yankees were in it.
Right.
And the fact that song has been out for as long as it has is staggering to me. But they need something. Look,
it's fine.
I mean, do you go get Nas?
I don't know.
Like, I know Nas doesn't hit for the wide audience in the same way that Cube necessarily does. But if you are a hip hop head, then Nas. And Illmatic might be the best rap record of all time.
Jeff Passan gets it. He gets it. Also, Fat Joe, Jeff, he's from the Bronx.
Let's
get some of these Bronx rappers out
there. Get Fat Joe going on. I know.
Lord Finesse.
Or don't mess with success. The Yankees won the 2009 World Series. Get Jay-Z and Alicia Keys back. I don't think Cube was dropping any new hits when he came in from center field in game 2. Like, just go back to what works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It wasn't just the song though. It was the presentation of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like Ice Cube just walking in from center field all the way to the center of the diamond. It was incredible. And then, it was one of those moments I've tried in recent years not to be the phone guy. Like, oh my God, something cool's happening. I'm going to take out my phone and video it. No, I was just enjoying the moment, and what a great moment that was.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the phone guy when Freddie Freeman was up thinking I'm going to get the last out of the World Series and video my 13-year-old son's victorious moment at his first ever World Series game. I'm glad I didn't do that. Yep. Womp womp indeed. Jeff, enjoy game 3 and beyond. And obviously, if it comes back here to LA, look me up. Okay.
Look forward to it. Take it easy, guys.
Man, that's Jeff Passan heading off to Yankee Stadium, the one and only Jeff Passan. Makes us smarter, makes us laugh. All good.
With a great head of hair.
No, listen, he adds to this program, that's for sure. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.